Okay, ready or not, it's showtime. Hi, everybody. My name is Chad Lupkes. This is Total Growth Investing live stream for September 26th, 2020. I didn't do the usual prep work for this one, so we'll just see how it goes. There are some articles in Seeking Alpha. I saw a number of posts in the Dividend Growth Investing group that I want to highlight and talk about. And yeah, let's see what we can do. First thing that I want to talk about is the overall markets. How did we do this week? You tell me. Let me know in the comments. How did your portfolio do? And what stocks are you watching? What stocks are you buying? Let's turn this into an interaction instead of just a one-man talking. So please feel free to post in the comments on any of the channels. I am live on Facebook and YouTube, thanks to Torsten's account, the Dividend Growth International. Again, Torsten is really busy trying to build his website, trying to add the stocks that he wants to add and build in the new functionality that people are asking for. And he will be back. We do plan to do joint live streams again, but for right now, over the next couple of weeks, he is focused on trying to get his websites, actonfinder.net and dividendstocks.cash, up to speed with a number of backed up goals that he has on the programmer side. So we wish him luck and looking forward to what he's putting together. Let's see. I'm going to share my screen and let's start with Seeking Alpha. So these are the authors that I follow that give. Justin is fantastic, and a couple others that go through the dividend changes for the week. So let's see what he came up with. All right, so the dividend champion and contender highlights. This goes over which companies change their dividends up or down, companies with upcoming ex-dividend dates, and upcoming pay dates. This is a really good author to follow if you want to find good stocks to put on your watch list. So what I do, and what I will do right in front of you, is go through this list to see which ones are on my list right now, on my TGI ranking list, which ones are not. And then I'll look at the ones that are not to see if I want to add them. So let's get started. I'm going to break that into there. And here is that list again. Is that it? No, this one. This is the first one. There we go. Okay, on my TGI list, I've got a what if tab that I use for this purpose. Let's plug in the symbols. If you're here, please feel free to say hello. CN, ECAR, there we go. FLIC, IFS, and Lockheed Martin. All right, not bad. Hingham Institution for Savings, 184. Lockheed Martin at 175. And Accenture at 375. Looks like, come on. I haven't updated this one for a while, so let's do that. We're at 184. 184. HIFS. So I'm going to bring that up on my other screen. Impressive. Okay, checking the dividends. They are now up to 0.45. That's nice growth. This to 9.88 payout ratio. That's incredible. That's going to help them. on my rankings anyway. 11.36, 8.28. All right, there we go. 5.9 and 6.61. Okay. And for momentum, 0.94 minus 0.17, 57.22, and 371.67. Again, where I'm getting that information is Seeking Alpha. I'm looking at dividends, dividend growth. The TTM is different from the year on year, so I come down here for the 1 year on year increase, and then plug in the average growth, compound annual growth rate for 3, 5, and 10 years. So then I go over to momentum, and I'll plug in these four numbers, 1, 3, 5, and 10 years. So move that back over there. So what does that do for their ranking? It bumped it up to, not that one, this one, 184. So no real change. Yeah, I don't remember what, well, they were at 211 before. So that helped them quite a bit. Okay. Let's look at some of the others. NA. Did I type that right? ARTNA. There it is. Artesian. Artesian resource. What is Artesian resource? $33.76. Okay, so this is my first indicator that I look at, and that's 10-year total return. Does it beat the S&P 500? This one does not. So I probably won't add it to my list, but let's look at dividend growth. Single digits. Payout ratio is mature. How long have they been growing? Nice. That's really nice. But again, single digits. And that jump at 1 year is because in 2017 they dropped significantly. So, yeah. What do they do? Artesian resources sounds like water. Yep. Utilities, water utilities. On the Delmarva Peninsula, Delaware. Yeah. You learn something every day. So that is the Delmarva Peninsula. I didn't know that that had a name. So, yeah, learn something every day. How's this going for dividend yield? Solid 2.54% over the last 4 years. And dividend yields between 2 and 4%, usually around 3, going back about 10 years. So that looks like a nice, healthy income stock. That's cool. I wonder if this is on dividend stock cash. Here's a good question. ART. No, it is not. Might ask Torsten. Add that. But then again, it's not one of the best of the best. So if this isn't beating SPY, it's not going on my list. I don't know if that he would be interested. What's next? Flick, First of Long Island. Everybody say hello. David, hello. Good to see you. All right. First of Long Island Corporation, again, does not beat S&P. Dividends, growth rates in the double digits. That's nice. And kind of fluctuating back and forth. 1 year, 130. It's been fluctuating pretty badly. Let's see what that looks like going down to the nitty gritty. That doesn't look like fluctuations. Oh, I'll bet you the stock splits are confusing the dividend growth graph. Yeah. But this isn't a good indicator because this one is adjusted pretty much automatically. Dividend amounts adjusted for splits. So I like the growth, but the momentum, not so much. Looks like they have not recovered from the COVID crash. Been going sideways since March. And they peaked back in 2017 and they've been struggling. So COVID didn't help them. Price return versus total return. Decent yield. Let's look closer at that. 4.97. Okay. And how steady is that? $2.65. Going back quite far. This is because of the COVID crash. The price went down significantly, so the yield went up. But going back 10 years, they're pretty steady between 3, 2, and et cetera, et cetera. So that's a nice income stock again. That's cool. Might be something to keep an eye on if they can grow. That's what I want to see right now in my portfolio is total growth. Let's see. So there's those 5. Now, what was the next article that I wanted to look at? The challengers. So we looked at the champions and contenders, and his next article was about the challengers, which have been growing for 5 to 9 years. So let's check these out. Again, here's the challengers. BKSC, Joanne. Hi, Monique. You guys have anything you want me to review, please feel free to post it in the comments. I'm just kind of running off the cuff. STR, JOUT, and TYBT. Interesting. Yeah, I came up with the right one. All right. Let's look at these. Johnston Outdoors. It's one of my favorites. I actually did a video review of them. Even during COVID, they have done well because people can social distance if there's lots of distance between people in the wilderness. So they've been doing fine. Bank of South Carolina. BKSC. Let's look. Not bad. Not great. How does that look on the graph? Yeah, they recovered from COVID almost. Not quite as well as the overall market, but a lot of the blue increase in the S&P that you've seen since the recovery has been because of the high flyers. So there's that. Dividend scorecard, dividend yield 4.18, not bad. Nice growth rate, very nice. Mature payout ratio. Let's look at their yield history. 3.15, decently steady. Going all the way back, yeah, decently steady. Another income stock. Not too bad. Yield on cost might be going up over time. Wow. Nice. Nicely going up over time. Yeah, mostly. Yeah. Oh, if I had bought. Dividend growth. Nice. Looked like they dropped in 2017 like a lot of the stocks that we've looked at today. But 177% growth between 2018 and 2019. That's nice. I don't think that's right. That's why I come down here. Let's see, dividend history. Oh, they've had some specials maybe? Or, okay, that looks like a special. A little haphazard, but they've been growing steady over the last 10 years. So that's nice. This number gives me pause, though. I really want things that go onto my list to beat the S&P. So it's something to keep an eye on. If this can maintain itself, if that bump at the end, well, that bump is mostly because of the COVID crash, isn't it? All right. We're seeing a lot of that. What's next? HTA, Healthcare Trust of America. Not a complete history. They're not beating it over 5 years. And I'll tell you, sometimes, even if they don't have a full 10-year history, but the 5-year total return is way and above the S&P 5-year total return, I will add them. So it's not strictly 10 years. It's just like, do they have an uptrend? Because I really want to, I want to vote for the uptrends. I want to put money into the stocks that are growing really well. Not recovering from COVID. Decent yield. Let's take a look at dividends a little closer. 5.02 yield, 7.64. So decent growth rate, not spectacular. Mature. They've been growing for 5 years according to this. Let's take a look. Slightly, just a little bit. Single digits. Nice bump because of this one and a stock split there too. Dividend history. Looks pretty rock solid. Not much into growth. Dividend yield, 4.51. That's a good income stock. Going back to 2013. Not bad. What's their next one? Announced on the 22nd, a 1.6% increase. That's why they're on this list. Okay. All right, so that's not going to do it. How about Investar? Investar holding. Momentum first. Negatives. Negatives. Wow. They're having major troubles. What do they do? What kind of stock is struggling that much? Financials, regional banks. Interesting. Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Ow. Okay. All right, I think we can pass on the rest of that. Dividend yield over the last 0.71. Not great. Yeah, not great. All right, pass on that. What's this one? Trinity Bank. Close. Almost. It's an over-the-counter. It's I think market cap, really small. So they are really, really small market cap stock. So you can see that in the graph because the resolution of data isn't that good and ups and downs are really significant. You can see it. Let's go back 10 years. They've basically been following the S&P, but not quite there. Let's see. So the micro caps, I don't have very many micro caps on my list. Nice growth. Nice special dividend looks like. 2013. Oh, that's when they just got started. Yeah, they had a special dividend here, looks like, along with the regular. But they've been growing. Semi-annual. Things that make you go, where are they based? Fort Worth, Texas. Founded in 2003. You know, it's not beating the S&P, but what would you guys think about adding a microcap? It might be doing better than some of my junkers down at the bottom here. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? If you're watching, I got 5 people watching right now. Should I add a microcap? I don't think it's going to do very well. My rankings are based on price return and dividend growth, which I'm actually not even seeing a tab for because Seeking Alpha doesn't have that data. I don't have the data for that I need to add it anyway. But one to take a look at, one to keep an eye on. That's cool. All right, going back to articles. What else is there? In the group, I saw a couple that I wanted to comment on. Let's see. What are the main things you look for before purchasing a stock? So, new member, Tayo Knight, hello, welcome. Let's see. My criteria for the TGI ranking list is payout ratio, dividend growth, payout or price performance, and total return. Total return is not actually part of the math. It's a result of finding a good stock. You can see, for the ones I have it filled in, a lot of the ones at the top of my list have 1,000% return over 10 years. 4,000? Wow. NVIDIA. Go NVIDIA. But my TGI list combines all of that into a ranking score. Let's see. Oh, I had a comment on this group or on my page, I think. Maybe email, I don't know. BST. There we go. Ulmer asked, how's BST in my positions for this week? So let's take a look at that. BlackRock Science and Technology Trust. I did an update and it ranked at 221 after my update. It doesn't have a full 10-year history, but this is one of those examples where if it has a 5-year that is really good and will probably continue, then I certainly want it on my list to keep an eye on it. Let's take a look at dividends and dividend growth. It's growing. But again, lack of history kind of hurts it, but not that much. BST on my list ranks at 122. So let's see what it does. It moved around a little bit, down to 211 after an update. I may have to correct that. Let me do that right now. Yeah, 221. Now at 211. Close enough. So It doesn't have a full 5-year history or a full 10-year history. I think I may have messed that up. BST is 3.14 and 14.8, but it doesn't have compound annual growth rates for 5 or 10 years. So on my list, that means that I put zeros, and that doesn't help the rankings. I don't see a payout ratio because it's a closed-end fund. And the 10-year price performance is also 0, which doesn't help. But even with that, it's still at 211, so it's going to do pretty well as the years go by. It's not on my buy list because that's at the very top, but 211 is not bad. It's certainly a hold. What do I think of LYB? LYB, I don't know much about it. What do we got? First off, what are they? Based in Houston, materials, commodity chemicals. Okay. Founded in 1955. That's cool. So let's take a look at momentum. Wow. That's nice. But why would the graph not go back further than October 2019 when it has the history data? It's a huge company. Dividend growth going back to 2011. Okay. Decent, not double digit, but still decent. I think I do want to add that, but I'm really curious why we can't see that performance going back further. If you know, please let us know, David. But I will add that because that's pretty cool. And I like the dividend growth, and I don't think I have enough materials. So how do I do this? I'm going to show you how I do this. My ranking list has 673 stocks on it, and one of the columns is rank replacement. So this is a calculation that takes into account the 10-year total return, the rankings. Okay, AT is where I'm getting that. So this is the performance rank, and that takes into account C. I haven't looked at this for a while, so it's not instantaneous. So that takes into account the dividend growth investing rank, the total growth investing rank, the price growth investing rank, and AS, which is the 10-year total return. Okay, so that creates an average ranking score for all of those criteria. And then it reverses it to say the ones that I want to replace last go to the top, and the ones that I want to replace first go down to the bottom. Now, that's just the way that I sort it. But then I can come over here and say, which of these do I want to replace with a new stock? So if it's in italics, it means it's in one of my portfolios somewhere. So I'm not going to replace any of those, but Wells Fargo is the first potential target. Last updated on 8/8. So I'm going to bring up Wells Fargo on my second screen over here. and we will update the numbers and see if that bumps it up on my replacement list. Wells Fargo and Company. Well, it dropped its payout ratio, quote unquote, down to 699. Dividend growth probably hasn't changed much. Nope, no change. How about price performance? Is it still in the doldrums? It's actually down further. Minus 52.01, 5, minus 54.08, minus 7. Well, okay, fingers getting wet from here. 52.0 minus 52.01, minus 56.25, minus 54.08, and minus 7.62. So they are down even further than they were. And 10-year total return is now 23.59. So how does that affect their ranking score? They're still at 14. So that means I can get rid of them. So which one was I going to look at? Lionel Basil. I'm going to bring them both up. And let's see. LYB. Letters, please. Dividends first. So they pay, they're not a bank, 1.05 a. They pay quarterly. They are a stock. Go to financials and overview. Let's go to materials. Chemicals. Dividend payout ratio 9.64. And dividend growth 3.75. 7.61, 8.98, and 0. Okay. Here's where things start to pop off. Minus 19.84, minus 28.90, minus, oh, come on. There we go. 0, minus 17.62, 209.97. Now, that, yeah, that didn't really help them because there's so many negatives in the performance. Oh, wait. 4%, minus 28.9%, minus 17.62%. That help? Not so much. Yeah, not so much. Probably help the ranking score, but let's see. And this 437.73, that probably bumps them up. There we go, 103. So even though the total growth investing score is still down at 657, the replacement score, which includes the total return, is now all the way up to 103. So it'll be a while before I replace that. But now it's on my list in case anybody's curious. What were some others? We had a very bad market on the 23rd. A sea of red. Anybody buy anything good? This is a general question that goes into, goes along with a lot of the broadcasts that we've been doing. Cloud-based. Well, for me, cloud-based means computers. If you're talking computers, you're talking about computer chips. SMH is the #1 stock on my TGI list. There you go. VanEck Vectors Semiconductor ETF. Let's sort this for everybody watching. It's the #1 stock. Its performance has been fantastic. Its dividend growth has been incredible. So if you're looking for cloud-based, like Christian is here, SMH is my best bet. Lockheed Martin we already looked at. Let's look at this one, at this article. So Theo is part of the Dividend Stocks Cash team, and Dividend Stocks Cash I am broadcasting to, so I really wanted to look at that. Let's look at some of these. American States Water. American States Water has an award for dividend bunker. Fundamentals, change layouts. All right. Pretty steady. Earnings per share growing nicely. Operating cash flow. They do have free cash flow, but it's kind of been bouncing around. Operating cash flow, nice growth there. Dividends steadily going up. Payout ratio, nice. Pretty steady. Revenue and margins are pretty solid going back 10 years. I usually let Torsten dig into these graphs because he understands them so much more than I do. But what I can do is go to valuation and say, where are we? Right now, and let's go back to 2010 when the real data starts. So right now, American States Water looks like it's overvalued. The dividend growth is nice. The earnings per share is nice. So that's this shaded region. Adjusted earnings per share and operating cash flow. The black line is the price. Looks like they spiked near the end of 2019. They came down thanks to COVID, but it's mostly volatile. They're still overvalued compared to their fair price numbers down here. There's no way to know what the price is going to do in the future, but there are predictions for what the earnings per share and operating cash flow and the dividends are going to do over the next 2 or 3 years. And looks like American States Water is not one that I would want to invest in right now, because it's going to take a number of years for the fair value numbers to catch up with the current price. If it continues to go down, then it might be a good catch. But for right now, not so much. I don't want to lose over the next couple of years. What's next on that list? Procter & Gamble. Procter & Gamble. Again, overpriced, but it looks like earnings per share fair value catches up to them sometime in 2022. And we invest for the future, not the current. So probably, again, not a buy for me yet, but if it goes down, then I want to catch the upswing. What's next? 3M. 3M is all over the news. And that's cool. So according to Torsten's metrics, they are at fair value right now. They're exactly at fair value. And they'll be going up. Probably not up here because that's just showing what the dividend increases are expected to be. How are they going to do that? Wow. Anyway, let's take the middle one and see how we would do if we put 1,000 into it. Capital gains 218, dividends 124. Okay. That's a possibility. That's cool that 3M is actually at fair value. Not many stocks are in this market. What's next? Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola. This is the COVID dip. This is the COVID crash. But the dip over the longer term is how long the experts expect it to take for a company to recover from the shutdowns. So right now, Coca-Cola is right here at 48.72. And they will reach fair value, depending on which measurement, sometime in 2022, and then continue to grow again. So the dividend growth looks like they're expected to be steady. And these are annual estimates, not actual data, but they might be at fair value right now, but not by much. Capital gains, dividends, not that much of an increase. But still, they will recover. Everybody knows they will. Colgate Palmolive. Did I see one? I did. Kenneth, can you look at STC? Yes, I can. STC, Stewart Information Services Corporation. Well, we landed on dividend growth. That's quite a spike, and then steady. Dividend history. Yeah, there's that steady. How are they on momentum? Nice. So they have recovered from COVID. Total return over 10 years. They've been beating the S&P and recovered, gone higher than the S&P. Nice. All right. First question for me, STC, is that on my list? STC. That is not. Good find. Thank you. The value is pretty high. Is that right? No, 42.20. I think that's wrong on my calculations here. I don't know what that is. I've moved things around and I got to fix that. But that total return number means that I definitely do want to add that. So let's go back to the rankings. And I really need to do this full screen. Sorted again by ranking replacement. Let's see what's next. UTG. Might be the next one that I want to replace. Yeah. I don't know. We'll find out. I haven't updated this one. Well, actually, it's only been a couple weeks. But show you how to do that. 0.18 today. It's a closed-end fund. What are their focus? Mostly utilities. Might need to replace that later, but payout ratio. How's their growth? 4.46, 4.48, 4.87, 4.37. So that's all good. momentum. 16.0 minus 4.97, 8.76, and 41.87. So that's gone down. Total return 174.40. So they still are at 14 for replacement rank. So yeah, let's replace them with something better. And that was STC. They pay 0.3 and they pay quarterly. They are a stock. Let's see what they do. Information services, probably IT. No, financials. Okay. Stock. Financials. $1 billion market cap. Payout ratio is 30.30. Nice. Dividend growth. Not much for 3 and 5 years because they've been steady. But 64.38 is respectable. 37.41 is respectable. 11.79, 17.61, 6.94, 275.11. So that bumped them up to 458. And you have a payout ratio. That helps. Now they're up to 321. This is 350.67. And dividend yield over the last 4 years, 3.05. Okay. Nice addition. Good solid hold stock in the 300s. So thank you for that. Oh, you're okay. Nadia and Keith. Coin. Next gen protocol. Is this blockchain? Yeah. They're focused on companies that are working on blockchain. Ratings. Nothing. Dividend growth. Nothing. They haven't been around very long. Momentum. Yeah. So they've been recovering well from COVID crash, but they're not very old. They only came in to the market in January of 2018. So that I need them at least to have a 5-year number before I add them to my ranking list, but thanks for pointing it out. What do? They are investing in stocks of companies operating across information technology, tracks performance of the Innovation Labs Blockchain Innovators Index. Okay. Yeah, that's sort of what it looked like from the holdings with Semiconductor, Amazon, MasterCard, Visa, Microsoft. All of these companies are making massive investments in the blockchain space. So that's kind of cool. Good catch. What's next? THCX. THCX. Cannabis. Yeah. Interesting, but I don't think I need to look any further. I need a 5-year history, and I'm not impressed with that 1-year history. So maybe it'll come back. Maybe it'll grow well if all 50 states switch to legal, but meh. IPPR. Do you mean IIPR? Are you looking at the industrial properties? What is this one? Because that one doesn't come up, but I know innovative industrial properties, and they've been doing incredible. They've been doing really well to the point that, where's my list? There it is. I do have them on my ranking list. They don't score very high, but I do have them so I can keep an eye on them. They don't score high because they don't have a 5 or 10-year number, and dividend growth don't have numbers for that. I need numbers. I'm not investing for the short run, so I don't invest in companies that are only for the short run. I think I might have 1 or 2 shares of this because of that, but I'm not going to be putting a lot into it. Yes, it is a cannabis REIT, and they make investments into the properties that are leased by the companies that grow the product. So there's that. Let's see. I am getting close to an hour. Let's look at one more from Nadia. SBAC. SBAC is doing gangbusters. That's really nice. Let's see if I have them on my list. SBAC. I do. Last updated in June, so maybe I want to update that. 190. SBAC. No. There we go. Let's see. Dividends 0.465 is the same. Update the date. Specialized REIT. Payout ratio 20.04. They've actually done better. Growth. They've only had 1 dividend? Really? Dividend history, really shallow. They started paying in 2019. Not enough of a history on that. But they are on the list anyway. So dividend growth, I'll keep that at zeros until they actually show the numbers. But the momentum is impressive. Yeah, maybe not so much. 121.99, 197.11, 688.01. Not bad. Not moving much either. 4.08. And dividend yield. Not so much. 0.1. Okay. So they haven't moved a bit with an update. Need more history and need to see growth over that history, especially dividend growth. Because if these numbers are zeros, that really pushes it down, and no amount of price growth is going to affect that. Okay. There was something else that I wanted to look at. I wanted to show, I had a question over chat a couple days ago about what I'm going to do when I reach the transition between total growth and healthy investing. What I mean is, when I am approaching retirement, right now I'm 51, so I've got about 9-10 years before I start this transition. I want to move from total growth investing to healthy income investing. And I think the dividendstocks.cash website is really going to help me with that, because they have 4 specific measurements that look back through the corporate history, the financial history of the company, and they give ranking scores for a number of different markers. So I have created a stability which says, show me the stocks where earning stability is as high as possible, cash flow stability as high as possible, revenue stability as high as possible, and dividend stability as high as possible. So let's see what comes up as the highest rank stock from that criteria. And the very first one that pops up is Fastenal. The dividend stability, 0.97. Earning stability, 0.97. Cash flow, 0.95. Revenue, 0.99. Now, these are the stocks that have been growing. I mean, you can see the awards right here. Bunker and Rocket and Sprinter. If you go onto the site, dividendstocks.cash, you can read in detail, because I know that's very fine print, what all these awards mean. But you can see the stability numbers. And what are they going to do? Well, let's take a look. They've been growing like crazy. They're just about at fair value right now. And they weren't affected much by COVID crash. What does FAST do? They are in industrials and machinery. So if we invested here and sold it, we'd get a return. We'd get decent dividends. The dividends are going to continue to go up. This is probably how I'm going to reconfigure my buy list and how I'm going to reconfigure my ranking list. I've just gotten started on this. I haven't done it very much on it, but I like the stability numbers. Let's take a look at that with the Seeking Alpha graphs. So momentum, they're beating the S&P. It's almost green across the board. I really like to see that. They have done really well after COVID. Let's review what they do again. Industrials, trading companies, and distributors. Wholesale distribution of industrial and construction supplies in Canada, Mexico, North America, international. They're based in Minnesota, founded in 1967. This is a company involved in the building of our civilization at the core level. Let's look at dividends. 2.23, decent growth rate. Let's take a look at that. Double-digit growth rate going all the way back. A number of stock splits, including one that happened just last year in May. Their dividend history, rock solid growth. Their dividend yield, thanks to that growth, is going in the right direction. It's solid, and the yield on cost going up, going backwards in time. 10, 20, all. Wish I would have bought 10,000 put into this stock in 1994 would be paying about 95,000, about 9,500 today, every single year. So this is fantastic, and this is the kind of stock that I want on my healthy income investing list. Dividendstocks.cash is a fantastic site. I mean, let's look at some of the high flyers in the group that have been there for a while. ABBV, AbbVie. This is something that I noticed a while ago. People think it's expensive at 86. No, it's going to go really high. It's going to go really well. This is the projected growth between today, when the shaded portion starts, and the estimates reports going out to the end of 2023. And at the end of 2022, there's a peak in what they're going to do. So if they get anywhere close to this, let's pick the middle number, put 1,000 in, get 1,200 back. That's not bad. I really enjoy the graphs for things like Tesla, because the experts tell us that Tesla is undervalued to an extreme. Okay, this black graph is their price, and yeah, they just had a stock split, so right now it's at 407. But given what the experts in the industry in investments think that they're going to do, you buy it now. I'll take that. They don't pay dividends yet, but if they keep bringing in cash flow, maybe they will. Who knows? And this is the middle ground. If we bought today and they are able to follow this line based on an earnings per share, oh my God. I'm glad I got in November of 2018 with one share. It's now 5. But this website, dividendstocks.cash, gives it in very plain language that our eyes can see what a stock is going to do. Let's look at another favorite, AT&T. Okay, it's a solid stock. Let's look at those stability numbers. Dividend stability 0.98, earnings stability 0.15. Not spectacular, but earnings are up and down for them. Cash flow 0.85, revenue 0.95. So other than earnings, it's a very good solid stock. And you can look in the graph. What are they expected to do? Well, looks like they're a little undervalued right now, but their fair value numbers, which are based on earnings per share, adjusted earnings per share, and cash flow, say that, yeah, they're going to continue to make money. They are a solid stock. They have been for 50 to 100 years. Steady as she goes. So if we bought here and they reach the minimum, or the medium, which is adjusted earnings per share fair value, it's going to be nice. And their dividends are incredible. Let's look at Dividend Turbo. Yeah, dividends are going to continue to grow, at least estimated. So AT&T is a great stock for income. Maybe not for growth compared to some of the others that are out there, but that depends on where you are in your line, where you are in your timeline. I love this website. I'm so glad that I connected with Torsten to be able to get access to this. Let's look at some of the other high flyers when it comes to stability rankings. J.M. Smucker, Huntington Ingalls, HII. Let's look at this one here. HII, Huntington Ingalls Industries. What do they do again? Military ships. Okay, aerospace and defense. Very cool. And momentum? Yeah, not so good. But yeah, the government spending has been a little skewed recently. Maybe they'll get back to that. Dividends. HII. Dividend stability 1.0. Earnings 0.9. What are they going to do? They're a little undervalued right now. The COVID didn't affect them much, except in price. But earnings per share will start to go back up as government spending goes back up again. Might be a good time to catch them if you're looking long term. Anyway, That's been an hour. Thanks for watching, everybody who has been. Thanks for commenting and giving me things to look at. Dividendstocks.cash is a great website. Let's go over mine. So my Facebook page, Little Growth Investing. My ranking list is pinned at the top, and I keep it updated. I've been slipping on getting it updated, but I'll try to get caught up again. I would love to be able to do this dynamically, but I've tried it with Google Finance formulas and they fail. Google Finance is not what it was. Where am I? So there's my Facebook page. If you go to YouTube, my channel, I need to get back into making videos. I actually haven't made one for a while. Last one I did was on the energy sector. I've got one in the works for the semiconductor index, SMH, but I just haven't had time. I'll try to get to that this weekend. I'll also want to do another live stream tomorrow morning, probably around the same time. So if you've got other stocks that you want me to look at, please let me know. Actually, yeah, I'm going to do another one tomorrow, not just next week. Can stay on the color graph for a bit and give a quick overview of the shading and colored lines. Yes, I can do that real quick. So let's make these go away and bring them in one at a time. So for, what am I looking at here? Let's look at 18, what's a good one? Let's go back to Fastenal. So this website tracks on a whole bunch of data. This is stock price going back, in this particular case, all the way back to 2000. So this has been on an uptrend almost the entire time. Here's the 2008 financial crisis, and it barely touched them. Earnings per share is the green shaded line. Adjusted earnings per share is brown. Now, he tries to get the data going back as far as possible, but as soon as he does, that's when he adds it in. Looks like they have not had that many adjustments. They had one adjustment in 2017, but other than that, not so much. Not much of a difference. Next is operating cash flow, which has been following, but looks like it exceeds in 2020. And then kind of peaks out. You can also see dividends, including the difference between a regular dividend and a special dividend. And we can see that on the dividend tab here. So these are the specials. Going back to valuation. And then he takes these shaded regions and turns them into fair value numbers. So here's the fair value based on cash flow. Based on earnings per share, sorry. And adjusted earnings per share. And the cash flow. And he can also do one based on dividends, but that's not super useful. And even he says that. So then you can say, how are they in terms of fair value? Are they overpriced, underpriced, right along the line? And right now, for most of the measurements, they are a little overvalued. But if you're looking at cash flow, they're a little under. And if you click the line where you're going to buy here, you can select any of these points. And you can get very specific if you want to and look at different valuation numbers. That just gets confusing for me. I usually pick the middle one, whatever it is. So in this particular case, the middle line is based on earnings per share. And then down here, you can say if you put 1,000 into it, what do you get out? So capital gains over the next 2 years, 125. The expected dividends that you'll earn, 77.65 for a total. And here's your total yield, yield on cost. So that's what the shaded numbers mean. That's what the colors mean. I see another question here. Do I have a stock twits that I can follow? No, I do not. I don't even know what that is. Stock twits. I'll have to look at this. I honestly have not seen this before. I've just been on Facebook, on the Facebook group, Dividend Growth Investing, and I went live for about 2 months back when I was furloughed in April and May and part of June. So I started a page and a YouTube channel. I'll have to see what Stock Twits is. Do you have a Stock Twits? I don't know what this does. I will look it up and maybe I'll join. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. I hope it was enjoyable. I will see you again tomorrow morning. I'll do a little more prep work, I hope. Got things to do this afternoon. Got it going over to a friend's with mask. Yes. So I will see you all tomorrow and have a good investing week. Let's hope the markets give us some good buys. And I'll talk to you later.